fam, it's Jen, and this is Through Thick and Thin Lighten Up edition. We are today going to lighten up Panda Express orange chicken. I have right here orange chicken. It's 2 servings. It's what they call the plate with chow mein, and we're going to try to recreate this entire dish. So right now, as is, this has about 1,500 calories in here. We're going to try to do it for about 740. So we're basically going to slice it in half. Let's get started. Okay, so I've already kind of looked up recipes on what is in each of these, but I want to get the taste right, so we're going to go ahead and try it. I will say that I kind of had to do like a curveball on the noodles. As you probably know, it's kind of restricted in grocery stores with what we can get right now, but we're doing our best. So the chow mein has just a very mild flavor, which is surprising considering it's 500 calories for this little bit. I don't really know, maybe it's oil that makes it so high in calorie. This is going to be really easy to lighten up. We're going to cut down on the oil. It has cabbage and some onion. Super easy to slash the calories. We're going to make this for 140 calories as opposed to 510. So that's a huge save. And then the orange chicken. It's fried. So we're going to save calories by frying it, but I think we have to get right the subtle, it's only a subtle orange flavor, and then it finishes with a spice. So that's what we're going to be aiming for. So let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started on our sauce for the chow mein. So we're going to do 1/4 cup of soy sauce, light sodium if you have it, but if you don't, whatever you have on hand is perfectly fine. And then you're going to grab your garlic, and I think it called for like 4 cloves. I feel you measure garlic with your heart and not with tablespoons, so I just put a big scoop in there and decided it was good. I love garlic anyways. And then you're going to use ginger, and I use like the jarred, already minced ginger, because if I get a ginger root, I find I never use it in time before it goes bad. Even though I'm pretty sure someone told me you can freeze ginger, I still never use it. So 2 teaspoons of the ginger is what we're looking for there. And then you need about a tablespoon of brown sugar, and I just eyeballed it with a 2 tablespoon measurement because it's all fine. It's a sauce. And then you're going to finish that off with a couple cracks of black pepper, and then mix it up to combine. So ideally you would use soba noodles, but these were all I could find at the store, and I'm not sweating it. Okay, so our pasta is boiling, so now we are going to work on our veggies. So we're going to slice an onion in half, and then chop off each of the little side pieces, and then run your knife kind of along the lines of the onion, and then you're going to turn it sideways, go about halfway through, and then dice through. And it's super duper important that you use your chef's claw right now, and you're super careful with chopping, because we really want to avoid hospital trips for any reason right now. And so now it's not the time for fancy knife flares, now is the time for safety. So next up is our celery, and even though you can't eat it, I always chop off the tops just because they're a little dry normally. And then you're just going to run your knife through, trying to make super slender cuts here, but also trying to make sure that all of your cuts are about the same size. When you're sauteing vegetables, it's pretty important to make sure that they're all the same size so they cook evenly. Otherwise you end up with some that are soggy and some that are crunchy. So even size is really, really important. And then next you're going to do a cabbage, and frankly I don't know the right way to cut a cabbage, but I always cut it in half first, just because I find it easier to work with. And then I sort of peel off the outer leaves of it, just because I don't know. And then we need shredded cabbage here, so I'm just going to go very, very fine strips of cabbage. And then once I have chopped that lengthwise, I will turn it sideways and chop it so that they're not so long. And then there we have it, shredded cabbage. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of olive oil, just like a tablespoon or so. And then you do want this pretty hot. We're going to cook this for like 3 to 4 minutes, so I'll see you back after that. Okay, so those have softened, so we're going to go ahead and add in our cabbage. Okay, and then once that is good, we're going to add our noodles. I will say, I don't know if we have enough noodles. We might have to make more, but we'll see. Oh, and the sauce. Add the sauce. Alright, so I can already tell we're going to need more sauce, but I do think we have enough noodles, so that's good. Okay, so if you wanted to skip this step, you could just use this orange sauce from the store. It's the exact half a cup. But we are going to make this even healthier. So we're going to take orange juice, maybe like a cup or so. Need a couple tablespoons of soy sauce. We're not really going to measure. We're just gonna go for it. We're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of honey. You guys know me, I don't really measure. I just use it and then taste and adjust. And then add sriracha to taste. I like it really spicy, but you might not, and that's okay. Moving on to breading the chicken, we're going to crack and whisk 2 eggs. And then we're going to get our flour mixture ready, and that's going to be half a cup of flour. I used whole wheat, but whatever you have on hand is perfectly fine. And then combine that with some garlic powder and salt. Okay, so I did record me breading the chicken after, but I guess the footage got messed up. So we're going to skip from me mixing up this breading station to just cooking the chicken. So into a hot pan that has about a tablespoon or two of coconut oil, you're going to add in the chicken pieces, and you kind of want to be sure that they have ample space. You might have to do this in multiple batches because if they're touching each other, they're not going to properly form a crust. So you really want to make sure that every little chicken piece has its own place. And then after a couple minutes, you're just going to go ahead and flip all of the pieces over. And I do recommend using a pair of tongs for this instead of just shaking the pan, so you can make sure that each side is kind of getting contact with the pan. And then you're just going to continue to cook until the temp for each piece of chicken is reading at about 155 to 160. Technically, the safe temperature for chicken is 165, but because of something called carryover cooking, where once you take it off the pan, it does continue to rise in temperature. To make sure that your chicken is not dry, you want to pull it at about 155 to 160. Okay, so next we're going to want to do the sauce and warm it up, and I don't know why I listened to this recipe that I found online. I found a base recipe that I, decided to base my recipe off of, and it said to add the cornstarch to the pan, and I know better, and take the advice from me, you always add cornstarch to a cold liquid before you add it to a pan, because otherwise it clumps together and then you have to be like me and take it off the stove and blend it to get rid of those stupid clumps, and I was pretty annoyed. So don't do that. Make a cornstarch slurry of about a tablespoon of cornstarch and a tablespoon of water. Mix it together and add it to the pan. Don't just sprinkle in the cornstarch. It's a mess. Okay, so here's our before, and here is our after. So let me go in for some of the chow mein first from Panda. Okay, so again, we're going for the flavor profile, not necessarily the texture, because those noodles are fried. But the flavor is great. The noodles, even though we had to sub them out, I really think are a great replacement. If you could find the yakisoba noodles that you're supposed to find, take that. But otherwise, honestly, I feel like you could even use spaghetti for this if you have it in your house. Super simple. So now we're gonna go in for the orange chicken. Oh my goodness, it's been sitting here for like an hour, so it's all sticking together. Okay, so again, slight orange on the spicy side. Mine's definitely gonna be spicier because, as you saw, I added a lot of sriracha, but I really like it spicy. Okay. Honestly, I think you could have more sriracha, but it is really good. I'm surprised. So because we pan fried it, it definitely is not as crispy. So you can see it's got a nice layer from the crust, but it's definitely not as thick as a traditional orange chicken, but for half the calories, I mean, come on. I would even add more orange. Now, I think that matches the flavor profile pretty well, but I think we can go even harder on the orange flavor next time. But overall, I think it's super delicious. Less than half the calories, actually. Just as a reminder, this one is 1,500 calories. And this one is like 740, so I'll take that swap any day of the week. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this episode here. If you liked it, please leave a like down below. I really appreciate it. Leave me a comment to let me know if you're gonna try this recipe. And just so you know, I do respond to every single comment that you leave me. Alright, if you're not subscribed already, please, please, please subscribe down below. I really appreciate it, and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. Remember, you can make today a great day, or not. The choice is yours. Have a good one.